Okay, that was 20 minutes. This is what we've accomplished. It's certainly a duck. I am back for week 3 of The Artist's Way. This week was recovering a sense of power. Just gonna jump right into the weekly check-in for this week. So first question, how many days this week did you do your morning pages? I did it 7 out of 7 days this week. I don't really have anything to elaborate on with that just yet. Did you do your artist date this week? Yes, I did. I took myself to the library and decided I wanted to check out some CDs and DVDs to bring home. I think an eventual goal for me just in life is to rely less on streaming for my entertainment needs. I really enjoy collecting and playing my CDs, and then I make sure to have my favorite movies on DVD because I don't want anyone to ever take them away from me, and streaming is not reliable for that. I've just been finding streaming services to be very, very overwhelming lately, when it comes to choosing what to watch. There's too many options. I waste so much time that I could be spending watching something, just browsing through thousands of titles. But I also realized the library has almost everything that you could want. They have popular series on DVD, they have popular movies on DVD. They had a lot of actually pretty new titles and no ads. I'm so sick of ads, and the way that Netflix especially is adding new ways to make us watch ads. Not only do you have to watch ads during the show, but you have to see ads on the home screen now, and when you pause you have to see ads. I'm fucking tired. I did vlog a little bit from my artist date, so here's that.
Something else I wanted to talk about really quick. I walked past the table with the magazines and the newspapers, and out of curiosity I was just I wonder what's going on. I sat and read the newspaper for 30 minutes straight, and it felt really good. I really am not somebody who seeks out the news very often because first of all, it's depressing, but second of all, there's it never ends. Infinite scroll makes it really hard for me to decide which news is important and relevant for me to know about. And just reading the newspaper and having a curation of the highlights and then also just interesting stories, it felt really, really good. I kind of fuck with that. Am I going to get a newspaper subscription? Maybe. I kind of want to look into it just to see, because I think a daily newspaper, I would not be able to keep up with that. A weekly? A Sunday newspaper? Perhaps. Something to think about.
Third question, did you experience any synchronicity this week, and what was it? So in this chapter, she talks a little bit about synchronicity, speaking your desires into the world and waiting to notice if anything, opportunities come your way related to those. This is a very spiritual thing to her, and I do kind of agree with some of it. I don't really have well-formed spiritual beliefs, but I do think that at the very least, being clear about what you want helps you better notice when things that align with that come along in your life. The only real synchronicity that I noticed this week, it wasn't particularly magical or special, but last week I set a goal that I wanted to start writing a short story. And I did start writing that short story. I'm not very far, and what I have is extremely scattered and unclear. But I'm trying to trust the process and remember that, like, it's better to have stuff that exists because then you can make it better than it is to not start and have nothing. Um, but anyway, so I began writing that short story, and then I was looking on my library's events page, and I noticed that they had a writing club for like this week. So I was really nervous and really scared to go, but I was brave and I went.
I'm about to walk into the library to go to my local writing club for the very first time. It was a goal for me to do this in January, and I've been putting it off for 6 months, so I'm gonna finally try. My fears, numerous. What if I'm the only person who comes? What if a lot of people come and I feel excluded? What if only like me and one random man show up and then we have to spend time together alone and it's uncomfortable? I've got 5 minutes, so I gotta go in.
And it was lovely. And I worked on the story a little bit more. What I wrote there was even less usable, but I think that just having a space to go to that is dedicated to writing, I think is a good thing. Even just to like talk to people you wouldn't usually talk to. It was a very, very small group, this meeting. It was the librarian running it, me, and a 79-year-old woman named Linda, who's my new icon. She's trying to like write her kind of memoirs about her life, and then she just was telling us, she read what she wrote because she's brave. I kept to myself because what I wrote was not good. But she read what she wrote, and then she was just telling us like her life stories, and she's had a crazy life. Was a part of like, you know, civil rights movement and the women's rights movements. And she said she's met Gloria Steinem on 3 separate occasions, which is pretty cool. Meeting older people makes me reflective and think about what kind of life I want to be able to look back on when I'm their age. And in order to have a life worth looking back on, I need to be more intentional about how I use my time in the present to create that life that I want to look back on. I also found out there's a different branch that has its own writing club, so I think I want to go to both because they're on different days. And more time built into my week dedicated to creativity and writing is, I think, a good thing. Were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. This isn't really related necessarily to stuff in the chapter, other than she mentions, more than anything else, experiment with solitude. You will need to make a commitment to quiet time. I wouldn't say I had like a whole lot of quiet time, but I did start putting my phone in a little pocket next to my front door for most of the time that I'm at home. I didn't realize how much having my phone either in my pocket or within my line of sight keeps me low level anxious the entire time. It's not that I'm always scrolling if it's like near me, it's more so that my brain is subconsciously aware the entire time that I could make that choice at any given moment to like scroll or to like check something or to look something up. And then it just like it makes it's like interrupting my focus over and over in small, almost unnoticeable ways unless I have it across the room. And I've found that when I put it away and out of my line of sight, it's actually really easy for me to forget about it and to focus on what I'm doing. Crazy revelation there. I know no one's ever made it before. But going into next week, I would like to try and have that be a norm. And maybe I'm not gonna make pronouncements about what I'm gonna do forever. That's silly. But I would like to try doing it again and be more consistent with it because it really helped me, I think. Okay, so going into week four is recovering a sense of integrity. This, I knew going into this that this was the reading deprivation week, and I've been dreading that a lot. So, since this book was written in the 90s, I'm viewing it more as like a content or like media deprivation. The one thing she does say is allowed is music, so I'm gonna take that and run with it, but still try and be intentional and mindful about how much I'm doing it and making sure I still have enough quiet time. So that was week 3. Thank you if you're new to the channel, and if you're feeling generous, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you next week to talk about how week 4 went. So thank you for watching.